Think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings, shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. See. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel. Gross. Nothing. Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts. There's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
Ah! I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism! And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit, and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of Kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use Kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person, you don't understand how all this works, so let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up, that really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take Kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you.
Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you.
They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and
You know, those are some pretty important shits to think about. You should sit down and fucking think about these things. It's like, fuck you.
Hello, Street Fighters. Welcome to the show. This episode is sponsored by Ivanovich Menthol Tobacco Vodka. Just dipped in a little bit. Glad you're here. It's Wednesday night, time for a street fight. Once again, it's your two friends, Brett and Brian, here. Talk shit about the world. Help spread this mess across the U.S. And keep spreading the love and support of the community and everybody that tunes into this show and watches us on the streams and contributes in any way possible. The zines are going great. The metal zine is coming by this Friday. I got it ready to go. We're catching up. We've got a fundraiser with Wavy, our artist friend. He designed some shirts. Head to store.streetfightradio.com. You got like a week and a half to get in on that pre-order for masks and t-shirts. That's benefits the Greater Columbus Arts Council as well and their COVID-19 relief fund. That's what we've got going on. For those of you that don't know, we are the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We've been doing it here out of Columbus, Ohio on WCRS FM for 9 years, as you all know. You can listen to us in Columbus on 92.7 or 98.3 if you're inside 270. It's the best community radio that there is. Or head to WCRSFM.org if you want more radical news coverage, if you want reggae playlists, if you want to hear hip-hop, rock, all the most interesting stuff. Head to WCRSFM.org. We do appreciate their support over the years and continue to spread the word about their good fucking radio here in Columbus.
Yeah, spread it, baby.
How's it going, Brian?
I'm great. I'm feeling really good.
We do have a. I want to start with a very special milestone for us. This has never happened before. The Doughboys. People send drops to the Doughboys all the time. I love the drops. Love hearing what people come up with. And this was sent to me like a month or two ago, and I've never got around to making it work. Plus technical stuff sometimes. But Dylan over at realcooltimes.com made this drop from the show, and Brian hasn't heard it yet, so I want to hear what he thinks.
All right, here we go.
You know, those are some pretty important shits to think about. You should sit down and fucking think about these things. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. I shut you down because the last call that we had last week was fucking phenomenal. And I was not going to pick up your cop apologizing bullshit after that call.
Why does he jump right and tell him to cut the malarkey?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Pecos Bill was better than Ben Franklin.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't he ride tornadoes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's so cool.
He like harnessed, he like wrangled them.
Yeah, that's like the coolest thing you can do. I don't even care if it's fake. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm a big fan of this guy. 100%.
I'm faded, I'm cross-faded, I'm bladed, I'm fucking everything you can be. I'm ready to get this shit done.
I get a lot of credit on the internet for being a magnificent wife guy and a magnificent dad. Just dad to the core.
Yeah.
Haven't had a grill in 2 years.
Wow.
Fucking sick ass country.
It is.
That's the show, baby.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio.
Well, we're done now. We don't even have to do a show anymore.
Yeah,
that's
it.
encompassed everything I talk about.
Yeah, that was a great preview of what we've covered on the show. That was Beautiful Ohio, the Psychedelic Ghost Mix. Once again from Dylan at realcooltimes.com. Thanks for sending that in. That was fun.
We have talked about Pecos Bill more than any other podcast. I'm almost positive about that.
We're keeping the dream alive.
Yeah. People don't know about Pecos Bill.
You can harness nature.
You can.
With a rope and some gumption.
I'm looking up Pecos Bill just to see if we got everything right. He did ride a tornado.
What else you got to do?
Okay,
What else you got to do?
he's a fictional cowboy in stories set during the American westward expansion into the southwest of Texas, New Mexico, and all this stuff, you know. Okay, let's see. The saga Pecos Bill, they called it a tall tale, which that's not proven. It could be true.
Sure,
you know?
somebody saw it. That's why they started telling it.
Oh, this guy's bad, though. He's bad. Pecos Bill's actually bad.
No.
Yeah. It says, according to legend, Pecos Bill is responsible for creating many different landmarks. One landmark he is said to have created is the Gulf of Mexico. Apparently, there was a drought in Texas that was so horrible that Pecos rushed to California and lassoed up a storm cloud and brought it to Texas.
Whoa, so did...
That's kind of cool.
Cloud seeding, kind of weather disruption?
I mean, I gotta tell you, if that's true, that's pretty incredible.
CIA, then, I guess?
Yeah. We haven't done that.
That's a Fed.
We haven't done that since, you know?
Yeah, no one's tried that since.
We got all the technology in the world. We can't do it. He fucking did it, you know? It rained so much that the Gulf of Mexico was created. That seems like a mistake, though.
Yeah, but when you can't do the computer models first, then you're like, oh, dang it.
Another story is of him creating the Rio Grande River.
Okay.
He and his horse got stranded in a desert and needed water. So Pecos grabbed a stick and dug the Rio Grande River.
Well,
here's the bad one. Now we get to the bad one. One other landmark that he is responsible for is the Painted Desert. He apparently started shooting at a tribe of Native Americans, and as they ran away, the paint they had on them from a ritual came off and painted the desert.
Yeah,
Pecos Bill.
That's not good.
God, these people back in the old days could not fucking tell a story without racism.
Yeah.
Just impossible for them.
Yeah, that was the life.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, we're writing a story. How do we add racism to this story?
Yeah.
And really make it good.
That's good.
You know?
That's the end of Pecos Bill on Street Fight Radio.
Yeah, fuck Pecos Bill. We don't like him now. We just thought he rode a tornado. So did you hear about this thing in Hawaii? Their online school at that at one of the schools in Hawaii that is like I saw this thread for it. It's called Asellus Academy, and it's the online school for one of the things for one of the school districts in Hawaii.
Okay.
So one educational alternative offered to children attending in-person classes by Hawaii 108 is Asellus Academy, founded and owned by a MAGA conspiracy theorist and polygamous cult leader Roger Billings.
Great.
Okay.
Free market education.
It seems like Asellus was likely formed to corner the market on online homeschooling for reactionary creationist QAnon parents, and are just happening to thrive during COVID school year, where local governments are looking to cut faculty and previously, I missed it.
Some QAnon group made a school curriculum, and they're able to sell it cheaper than a company that has like people working on making the books. And shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They're doing the teaching and making the lessons. Some QAnon person will make lessons all day long as it's the right lessons, right?
Yeah. So here is. This is from Karaoke Computer on Twitter is the name of the account. He did a really good job of putting a thread together and getting some screen caps of some of the stuff that the kids are learning. Here's one of the questions in their history course.
Okay.
I believe. Ronald Reagan caused his country, and then it's a blank, and you got three choices. To turn bitter after hard times.
Whoa.
B, to do nothing for the country. C, to get excited about things even in hard times.
That's one
of the questions. That's just one of the questions. Seems like an obvious answer. It's turn bitter after hard times, but I think the correct answer was C.
Right.
To get excited about things even in hard times.
Yeah.
William Bradford was the leader of the, and it says church, army, or pilgrims. And the pictures are of a crucifix, and a gun, and then a pilgrim hat. So, most schools are avoiding putting guns
in the curriculum as just like a drawing of and it's a cool looking, realistic looking gun.
Well, did you see that they threw that? I'm sorry. Did you see that black kid that had a gun on Zoom and the cops were sent to his house and he got suspended for 5 days?
No.
Yeah, they this 12-year-old kid had they had like a gun with an orange tip on it. Said
just
like
playing with
zombie,
a gun?
yeah. And they said that he brought a facsimile of a gun to school.
Well, no, he didn't.
No.
I even saw a weird thing where there was a school that said you had to wear shoes.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, you couldn't be on the online school without shoes on. That seems like that seems like you're overstepping a little bit as the online school, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a mess. You know, they didn't really have a lot of time to develop any of this stuff. So, I mean, with this Asellus thing, it's sort of like the school probably didn't fucking know, man. Well, it's called Asellus. That sounds like a school thing, you know?
Yeah, you know what's fucked up too? I just found out with my daughter's school is there's a reading app called Epic where like the teacher can give books and send them to like their inbox and they can read them and it tracks all their time. Mm-hmm. I tried to get it on that motherfucker before we started at 8 p.m. and it sent a message that says, you're on Epic after school hours. You need to get mommy or daddy to get their email address to sign up for an Epic account.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Does it cost money?
No, it's free, but you only get 2 hours of reading a week. You can't read more than 2 hours if you don't pay. $8 a month or $72 all the way for the year.
Oh,
it's
man.
Fucking awful.
That is a fucking rip, man. Apparently, Asellus curriculum contains tons of racist history lessons and test questions. Here are a few of the worst I've seen so far. Wait to go with the vetting process on this one. Which image, in your opinion, best depicts Harriet Tubman's escape from slavery to freedom in Philadelphia, A or B? And one of the A is a burglar with carrying a bag like behind him,
like money sign on it.
No money sign.
Okay, just a burlap bag.
Burglar, or the other one's a picture of a black woman with a bindle and like a thing on. And somebody put in the comment that the answer would be A, according to Asellus' third grade lesson. The A is the burglar.
The answer is she
was a burglar. She was stealing her labor, I guess, you know?
Breaking the law.
Here's one. Osama bin Laden was the leader of what terrorist group? I mean, come on. You know, this is third grade. We're looking at third grade shit, you know? It says Islamic Jihad Union, Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, Muslim Brotherhood, or D, Taliban. Towelban.
See, now some people were taught that way.
This is so fucked, man.
How many kids did they say? Or did they say how big the district is?
It's a Hawaiian. I don't think the population's too big there.
It's the Digital Academy thing?
Yeah, it's the Digital Academy thing. Here, you can plug your headphones in again. There's some audio here of the PE course.
Oh, no.
I'm going in blind.
Is bad? Even the PE is bad?
I'm going in blind here, so I don't know what this says. But I feel like we should check it out.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Hi.
Ooh.
My name is Fire Angel, and I am going to be your personal helper. I'm going to be like your angel when you have certain dark clouds in your life and you need just a little bit of help. I'm going to help you with getting excited about exercising, about eating right, about being positive, about caring, and about taking care of all your friends and all your family. And so if you ever need a little pick-me-up, come watch me.
Okay, so Fire Angel is the PE teacher.
I didn't get to see her.
She kind of talks. You want to come over and see her real quick?
Yeah.
She kind of talks in like a kind of sexy voice. I felt.
That's fair.
You know, that's Fire Angel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
That's the PE teacher is wearing a blouse.
Yes, the PE teacher is wearing a blouse, and her name is Fire Angel.
Maybe that's an athletic jacket, but she's Fire Angel. Here to teach you what kind of stuff we're gonna do, Fire Angel.
So
I wonder what kind of physical education are we getting?
So then the next thing in the thread, right, is, and here are some really gross tweets that Fire Angel liked from their personal Twitter account.
Oh, no.
Totally in line with the ideology of Asellus Academy's curriculum. And if white people don't call themselves European Americans, why should black people call themselves African Americans? I say we should all just be Americans. Am I right?
Yeah, that's, what's his name? John Wayne made that.
Liberals are furious Trump's administration refuses to fly the LGBT flag over U.S. embassies. I say the only flag we should be flying over our country's embassies is this one. It's the American flag, and it says, "Who agrees?" So, and here's the last tweet that she liked. Women aren't equal to men. Men aren't equal to women. I am proud I can do things men can't. Why does everyone want to be same? Be proud to be what you are. God made you special and unique. Stop trying to be a second-rate version of someone else.
Oh, I hate that.
I do too.
Because you just know the disgusting attitude is like that. I mean, that's turf shit. That's anti-trans shit is what they're saying. And it's like what you are just, there's people that want to live their life how they want to, and you are uncomfortable with it. You want them to believe they're a special little angel chosen by God, and they don't believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that is so obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, this thing that I'm reading,
that's fucking wild.
It like really makes me nervous. I think we have to now we have to look into what
we always have, man.
I know.
They've been changing the history books down in Texas and Oklahoma for a few years, for a while, forever, you know. They're always fighting in those history books to get more racism in there.
Yeah, the school
or to
district
justify the racism.
The school district dropped them, so that's good.
That makes sense.
It's just, what in the fuck is going on, man? So
how's your school going?
Well, you know, she's back every day.
Okay.
For 2.5 hours.
Okay.
I think.
One classroom or switching classes?
Yeah, it's to me, and even she said, she's like, it sucks. It's basically like being at home. We're not really allowed to talk to each other. We're far away from each other. There are partitions in between us. You know, the doors and the windows are all open in a class, but you can't like leave.
Yeah.
And so part of me feels like, hey, it sounds like they're doing it right. They're being safe about it.
Doing the most they can, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen them try to do as much as they could outside.
Yeah, that makes
right?
Absolutely.
And then I thought of this the day she went back, and I'd like to get your opinion on this because it's just an idea that I came up with. I don't think I've heard anybody say it or anything, but what if, okay, in the school districts, we do send, and provided that, you know, nobody's immunocompromised, and we're just saying, like, what if we have to send the young kids, right, up to 9th grade, why don't we let the high school kids stay home?
Yeah.
And then use the space of a high school building to spread the little kids out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. A lot of parents do want their kids in school. And I got the impression from our school district that the teachers wanted to go back provided it was done safely. You know what I mean? They sort of were like, if we're going to take precautions, then I would rather be in front of the students. That was the impression I got from talking to some of them and keeping up with the emails and the meetings and stuff. So they do like want, there are people that think that it has to happen there, right? And like, I also sympathize or empathize with the people who have jobs, whose kids, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're trying to figure out like what you would even do.
No, this was my life today.
Yeah.
And my wife went to the office for the first time in a while. I had to do school, and she isn't doing Digital Academy, so her teacher is required to do in-person teaching, and he just sits on Zoom for like 7 hours a day, and they make her show up at 9 a.m., and she has to be there till 3:30 like it's a fucking school day.
Yeah, G-Dog, Gwen does too.
It's the craziest shit. And like, I'm begrudging. I don't think it should be happening at all. I think that we should be smart enough to renegotiate the deal of what this year is and what education is, because this is bullshit to try to force everyone into it.
I mean, couldn't
the guards don't. It's not spit. It doesn't matter spit.
Right, I understand.
Imagine everybody is smoking a cigarette around you. Being inside is not, even if it's 10 of your coolest friends.
I mean, couldn't we, for this time being, at least, probably until November, couldn't we do a lot of this outside?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, couldn't...
You can put tents up, too. They did it in 1918. I saw outdoor school in the winter where they just made them dress warm and they put tents up.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to say you should have to sit outside in January, February and stuff.
Yeah.
But I am saying that, like, we're at a time now where this could happen outside. We could partition off not only the land that the schools are on, but we could use the parks in the area too. Like, there's space to do this stuff. Now, granted, I don't know what every situation is, but I think there are ways to pull this off that really, level out the risk a little bit.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this has to happen indoors.
Yeah.
For some reason, this has to happen.
I also, what gets me though is what I have to be logical, and what I do have to accept is what you said, is that I sat on the couch and tried to work from my phone because my daughter got given a Chromebook for working our schoolwork, and it disconnects from the internet every 30 to 45 minutes. And she's using my work computer now, my work laptop, and I see some of the kids that are still on Chromebook, and their parents just set them up, and every 30 to 45 minutes they're off the call, and they're like asking for some, Sean, come back, please, Sean, refresh your internet. And this kid has to every single 45 minutes refresh this fucking internet. And if your parent isn't there, I mean, she's 7 years old. She does not, like, they're showing her how to upload documents, you know? She was learning, like, writing and spelling and shit. Like, she's still learning a lot of compound words. This is a lot. And I had to sit there all day. And there's so many kids that just don't show up, like I always say. Or, the parents don't... I am one of the very small percentage unique households that me and my wife can spend every fucking hour being a co-teacher. That's what I was doing, because every time I would just hear the teacher say, all right, folks, we're going to clean up and we're going to do our math now. So I would get up, I would say, what do you need to do your math? I would make sure she was set up to do her fucking math, and then she could go with the teacher. But the teacher's just plowing through. The teacher has a fucking, a hot 30 minutes of math they have to do every day, and they're on a timeline. Mm-hmm. So they just have to show up, and they're getting paid to show up on Zoom to do live instruction teaching. And it's driving me fucking nuts. I mean, it's gonna be hell.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they got kids in the chat, like, don't type anything in the chat. I heard this girl today was like, I want to tell a scary story. And they're like, oh no, it's not story time. And she's like, oh, I want to tell my scary story. It's from The Purge. And then the teacher was like, all right, it's not story time anymore. Let's keep it on task.
Well, my kid watched a lot of, like, stuff for, not at 7 probably, because she just couldn't even figure it out. But, a lot of parents, they're just sort of like, yeah, we're going to watch a show together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched John Wick with Gwen when she was like 10.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, you were there. You were like, should we watch this with her? And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And she loved it. She loved the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Wants to see the other two. Just hasn't had time to sit down with me and watch them. But
like I also have to do work. Like, I also have like a full day of work that needs to get done.
I know.
But I have to be up at 8 a.m. every morning now with fucking breakfast and snacks all day long. But you know,
your kid loves snack. I mean, your kid has a higher level of snackage than even some of the high level snackers. That
very
I've known.
grazer.
Yeah,
just grazer. That's all we do is just grab handfuls of stuff and throw it in her mouth.
I know. She rocks though, man, because it like she blows my mind when we're hanging out because like I feel like it's every 5 minutes she wants a snack. Even when we're doing the show, sometimes she'll come and knock on the door at like 10:30 at night and be like, "Dad, I want some fucking yogurt or something." You're like, "God damn." Gwen was the same way. Like we had to carry stuff with us. When you have a kid that's really young, you have to carry food with you
constantly
because they fucking just need food every 7 minutes in order to feel like they're doing something.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like I think it's actually working well for her, but that's because literally she has a full-grown adult helping her through her whole fucking school day.
Right, and
then we like anything she doesn't finish up, they are grading this based upon how many Google Drive documents, how many Google Classroom documents get uploaded. So basically, she does all of her work, and at the end of the day, we have to go through and input the work because it's like the worksheets and stuff that they did before. Like, they can't just collect those and count it as, like, work done. I have to now go to a spreadsheet and do her math. And, like, we have to input her math homework that she did. It's so much extra time.
Yeah, last year, Gwen had a teacher that made us print her math work and then drop it off at the teacher's house. And we had to drive up to the teacher's house and drop it on the porch.
That's not as bad. Because you're doing it twice. Like, she did the work. She spent 45 minutes in the afternoon. She was learning about tallies. She tallied everything in the house, chairs, tables, light switches, and all of that. But now it's like, oh, you thought you were done with that? You got to do spreadsheet stuff now. Let me show you what spreadsheets are about. Now you got to go do a spreadsheet for the teacher.
Yeah. I mean, me and Katie
she's going to be able to run a Shopify at the end of the school year.
Me and Katie have been talking a lot about, we were just having a conversation the other day about, like, I don't know how we would have kept our sanity if Gwen was not a teenager. You know what I mean? At this time, it just seems like
it's intense.
A lot. And it was like it's all being sort of heaped on you. And then me and you haven't had a break in pay. You know what I mean? And like neither one of us have, and our wives haven't had like a break in pay since this happened, you know? Now, just imagine you're fucking out looking for a job.
Yeah.
And money's not coming in. They're not fucking doing another stimulus. Yeah. There's just like I don't know how I really don't know how somebody that works for a living, as I say, is doing this. I have no idea.
What about a single parent that has 16-year-olds? What are you supposed to? How are you supposed to babysit them? They can make lunch and all that stuff and do their work. How are you supposed to babysit them?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
This is just I trust Gwen.
Sure.
But she is also like a different kind of kid. Because I do know that there are people I know that there are teens that are not doing their work 100%. That I happen to just kind of I know a bunch of the teens in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because they all come up together. There's only like 30 of them.
Right.
And I have heard stories from other parents that like the kid, my kid hasn't turned anything in 2 weeks. I got a call from the teacher and she's not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do about that? I don't even know what to fucking do. I don't know how. Do you want me to stand behind and watch? Because I can't do that,
Yeah. My job is telling me that I have to come back to work now. They put up partitions and bought gloves and masks.
Well, that's Katie was saying. Katie's also hit this thing too, where Gwen doesn't want to walk anywhere ever. I live in a very walkable neighborhood. I don't know that you could live in a more walkable neighborhood. Than maybe New York City somewhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more walkable, but there are sidewalks everywhere, and everything's within a mile.
Yeah,
of you.
You have access to anything you could want.
Get to
and
anything.
Also local like Mayberry type stuff everywhere you go.
Right. There's other parents out everywhere. Yep. Everybody knows everybody. It is maybe the best possible situation for a kid that has to walk to school. Now, I grew up in the suburbs, granted. There were sidewalks all the way to school. I walked every day, and I'm not trying to be that adult. You know what I mean? But Katie's working from home. I go out and walk. And probably what I'm going to have to end up starting to do now is just wait until she needs to go to school. And I'm going to have to drive her and drop her off because she doesn't want to fucking walk for some reason. And Katie has to take time out of work even just to drop her off and pick her up and take her to fucking tennis. And it's just like, fuck, man. You know, if we were all back at work... You know what I'm saying?
Her hand would be forced.
Yeah, because that's. I mean, my parents both. I had two working parents, right? Full-time working parents, sometimes overtime.
Yeah.
Working parents. I just didn't have time for it. They had to be at work before I had to be at school, and I just didn't have a choice. And like for some reason in my mind, it's like. Well, I guess if I have the choice, I'm going to do it. I would have liked to have gotten a ride to school when I was a kid, so I guess I'll do it. But, like, I'm even just thinking about that. I ran into my brother and my niece yesterday while I was walking, and they were walking back from recess.
Yeah.
They go home. I guess they go home for recess or something, and it's just, none of it makes sense to me. It just, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know what to do for parents with kids that aren't working. Yeah. But I do know this. The government has been actively terrible in this situation. Like, they have done nothing but fuck this up. You know, when this all started in Ohio, or I can't say for all of Ohio. I can say for Columbus. Mike DeWine was very popular.
Yeah.
When COVID happened, because he did lockdown, and people were making viral videos about Mike DeWine. People were putting a thank you Mike DeWine outside of their businesses and outside of their houses. They were thanking him. They were saying he's this great guy. Then he opened up schools. Then he opened up public exhibitions. You're now allowed to have concerts and shit like that. And then today, last straw for me. For real? Because I did a couple times I was sort of impressed with him because he's a Republican. I just didn't expect him to do anything, you know? I got an update on my phone, and it said that it had COVID contact tracing on it. So that if you're around somebody that has it, it'll inform you that you were in contact with somebody that had it. And then, you know, a lot of people have iPhones. That might actually be useful if it's part of the OS. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
well, yeah, I have an app I use called Citizen, which is like a Columbus City app, and it has the contact tracing for COVID. They've had it for a while.
Yeah, Ohio didn't have on the iOS. I mean, you
had to download the Citizen app to do it.
No, this is the new update that just puts it on there as a setting.
Right.
I just did that, and it's not on there. And I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even do that.
There's an app, though.
Yeah.
That does it. And
like Citizen by Apple?
No. You have to download the Citizen app.
Yeah.
And then it reads the Bluetooth of people around you and tells whether or not you were in contact with someone that had COVID. You report your symptoms on there.
I just feel like we're not really doing any of the right shit.
We have like, I looked at it back before when we did the lockdown, the infection rate was at 2 times. Like, every one person infected 2 people. It's now down to 1 to 1.
Yeah.
So there's the spread rate has been halved.
Yeah. I mean, from what I'm hearing, we're in a decent spot. We are doing better. Like, the infection rate's going down, the numbers are going down. That's why they brought people back to school.
Yeah, I mean,
let's watch in 2 weeks, from Labor Day especially.
They're not going down. They go down for 1 day when the people can make the decision. Like, they go up. They're just so up and down. I just don't think they're at a safe place yet. You know.
I'm with you, man.
Sorry.
I am with you. Well, let's.
I didn't know Apple added that though. That's a good feature.
Yeah, I just got it today.
But my wife got the Citizen thing, and it also, you can report gunfire, you can report like a car accident, a baby stuck inside a car. It's supposed to be like some sort of Good Samaritan app.
Yeah.
And my wife will get notifications on her Apple Watch that's just like, a man was stabbed on Bush Boulevard, and you're like, oh, great, that's good to know.
So, do you remember like 2 or 3 weeks ago we talked about Ted Cruz switching to country music?
Oh, yes.
We played
after 9/11.
We played the video of Ted Cruz switching to country music after 9/11. Well, it's really funny that we talked about that a few weeks ago because I saw this article on NPR that I wanted to hip you to. Texas Senator Ted Cruz has made no secret for his affection for The Princess Bride, the 1987 cult classic star. That's not a cult classic.
It is.
It's just a straight up classic.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
likes that
You're right.
fucking movie.
I don't,
you can't go anywhere without seeing a shirt that says something from that fucking movie.
That's true.
It's not a cult classic.
That's true.
Cult classics like Evil Dead 2.
That's not anymore either. I mean, if Princess Bride is an Evil Dead 2 is just as innocuous, go to FYE and buy a million fucking Evil Dead 2 things.
Well, I guess.
I
mean,
think all
it's
of
less people have
Cult
seen
Classics
that.
was the thing like 20 years ago. I remember Cult Classics when they were, but now
what's a
they're
cult
pop
classic?
culture.
I got it. I know 2 cult classics. I got them.
Uh-huh.
Stone Cold with
Okay.
Brian Bosworth.
What? Oh.
And Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Those are good ones.
Those are motherfucking cult
Those are
classics.
real cult classics.
I saw that movie as soon as it came out on DVD or on VHS. Like when I heard there was a movie with Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, I was like, well, I gotta fucking see this. I love Harley Davidson, and I also love the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
I wish they would fucking make a Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man extended universe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Put Joe Camel.
Toy line.
We get like a Joe Camel movie.
Let's not make it a cult classic. Let's make it like a real classic. Let's do like loot crate boxes for it. And
Yeah, why not? You know, you get Joe Camel
Candy
in
cigarettes.
There. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. You know, you maybe a Mini Cooper movie. I don't know if that would fit in. Maybe a coal rolling truck movie. Mm-hmm. It's like a F-250. You know, because
Extended
you
cab.
can do vehicles and you can do
Yeah.
So anyway,
but the thing, cult classic though is, that's an old concept.
Yeah. I mean, it still exists. There are still
Sure.
movies that are
I can't
cult
remember what-
classics.
Yeah.
There are recent
Of
ones
course.
that are cult classics.
Yeah. Oh, I remember I was going to say, this reminds me of today, everybody talking about fucking Dune. And like,
now,
I really just wish it would never be popular. And I wish comic books never became popular. And all this, like, this shit gets ruined once everybody likes it.
Yeah.
People just beat the shit out of it and make it unlikable and annoying.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I'd like to be
bugs the
part
shit
of
out
like
of me.
cultural events in that way. So like when something gets popular, not music. Music tends to be like a different thing for me. Like when the music gets really popular. Oh, I have some news. Teens are listening to country music now.
That seems
I can't remember the guy's
Makes sense.
name, but Gwen is furious at all of her friends.
A country guy? Just
Yeah.
one?
Well, there's a few, but this is like a new country guy that I can't remember his fucking name. I'll have to find it.
Is he like progressive or something?
I'm not really sure. It sounded like it was pop country.
Cool.
And Gwen's so mad about it because Gwen has like transitioned into like hipster. But her friends are still into like the popular shit.
Yeah.
So we have this really interesting kind of
where
she's just like, oh, they like a bunch of shit.
They want to
know what
ride.
I mean?
They only just want to sit in the back of pickup trucks and drink out of Solo cups.
Gwen's going alt, and all of
Yeah.
her friends are going like full on mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's like, kid, you're in the wrong fucking school for that, man. You know, you're going to school with a bunch of rich kids.
Yeah.
They all try to fit in. It's a milk toast place that you live in.
I mean, yeah, it'll get you far though. If you want to take a hold of the that holy grail, you can find yourself with the most comfortable life possible.
I keep telling her though that like, you know, what you have to think about is like the cooler shit you're into a lot of times indicates what kind of people you're going to hang around with when you finish school, which matters a lot more than the people you hang around with in school. You know what I mean? Like you have to live a lot longer life after you get out of school, and you get to hang out and like if you listen to like hip shit, you know, you'll probably get to hang out with hip people, and you'll be around artists and people that are doing really cool stuff. So I just keep trying to like
let her know that's what's ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah,
I
you have to know how to be around those people too. I mean, I don't think you should be a complete fucking snob.
No.
But the biggest lesson to be learned from all of that, like, record store snobbery and hipster bullshit of PBR hipster bullshit is like, it's not. I mean, you should be able to hang around other people, but you're right. At the end of the day, what fills you up inside and what makes you feel good, it's not pop country, and it's going to be hard to be around people that like get fulfilled by that kind of horse shit.
I know. I said every cool person. I mean, most cool women that I know went through a phase where they listened to the Smiths and have like the Strokes and stuff like that. It's just like, you're gonna be okay. But okay, this was a long way around. I just so Ted Cruz is pissed off.
Okay.
That the cast of Princess Bride is doing a Democratic fundraiser, and it kind of filled me up a little bit inside. Like my love meter kind of popped up because he posted about it. And there is something, and I don't know why, there is something about Republicans' heroes turning on them.
Yeah.
Like, there is something about that feels so good. Because you would fucking hate it, dude, if somebody that you looked up to all your life all of a sudden said, I want fucking nothing to do with you. I hate you.
Yeah.
Like, I would love that. I mean, I would hate that.
There were certain ones I would expect that from. Like, I wouldn't be surprised about. But definitely, like, you have to know you're unliked in most circles. So I mean, like these people that live these unlikable lifestyles then also get hurt just as much.
I know it rules.
I think it's great for Ted Cruz because this is one of those things where he's like, I'm actually not a slime person. I enjoy the comedy stylings of Princess Bride.
Right.
Well, and it's like, oh god, like that's supposed to humanize you.
He quoted the movie sort of. It says, "Do you hear that, Fezzik?" I don't know. I haven't seen it in so long. I couldn't tell you.
I've never seen it.
He said, "That's the sound of ultimate suffering. My heart made that sound when the six-fingered man killed my father. Every Princess Bride fan who wants to see that perfect movie preserved from Hollywood politics makes it now." And I was just like, oh, he's so bummed. He probably isn't going to be able to watch that movie again.
He thought comedy's not it's not political. What's funny is funny, you know? Yeah. Sarcasm and witticisms will rue the day.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we do this for like progressive shit.
We don't like you.
We want our people to live their lives how they want, and you shut that down. Like you're on the attack mode against the arts.
Yeah. So I have two directions we can go in right now, Brett. I want you to pick.
Oh, Choose Your Own Adventure, one of my favorite books.
Choose Your Own Adventure. Maybe you can even look at the chat.
Did you peek or did you just accept your fate?
What do you mean?
On a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Oh, I cheated. I mean,
you would read a couple sentences?
You know what I did like a crazy person a few times? I just read the whole book, like, in order.
Yeah, that seems like... That might scramble your brain in the wrong way.
Yeah,
just a disjointed, like, Memento type story.
But it felt like I got all the information. You know?
You found every single possible outcome when you go into the monolithic cave or whatever it was called.
Exactly. Yeah, I read the whole book
cave.
Front to back. And I felt like that was the easiest way to consume all of the content. I get all of the content. I'm not missing anything.
I always took a deep breath. I literally would say like page 12 and I would go and I'd open it up to see my fate. I wanted to know what was next.
How fun
would it be? Would the rocks fall on my head?
How fun would it be to write one? You know? It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It'd be great to dictate it to someone else to write it.
Exactly.
That's what I think would be a real fun time.
All right, so we have worst companies to work for. The 20 worst companies
from who?
To work
Can I ask a clarifying
Money Inc.
Whoa, that's a big name.
It's a big name in business news. And we also have what I have decided we will do. At some point, this
Wait,
will
you're
get
gonna
done.
say what you've decided you do. I get to make the choice.
No. You get to make the choice. I'm saying that we will do this no matter what.
Okay.
At some point, Dear Abby. I was looking at Dear Abby today, and I read it, and it was kind of annoying and infuriating. So I'm just like, do we want to do Dear Abby, or do we want to do the 20 worst companies to work for?
I want the chat to help me decide.
Yeah, have the
I want to
chat
ask
help
the
you
audience
decide.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I want, like, worst companies is the way to go, but I'm feeling like some sort of weird. I read all those "Am I an asshole?" and relationship.texts. I really fucking love reading those through those things and the replies that people have on them. I live for that shit. Well, you did the Radio Free Tote Bag, right?
I did.
Did they make you talk about dating questions and relationship
Not dating
shit?
question. It was more relationship stuff because I didn't ever date in my life. I say, if I can throw it in there, Dear Abby is my preference here. But I also have the foresight of having seen what the stuff is.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I can't make a choice now. I feel like.
Did anybody in the chat say anything? What are they saying?
9 out of 9 say worst companies.
Worst companies, huh?
That's what they want.
All right, maybe we can burn through this and do both because we do have more time.
Listen to that.
What?
It's burning through this.
Well, no, but we have a bunch of time.
Sure.
I don't know how much.
I gotta teach second grade tomorrow.
So, number 20, Forever 21.
That makes sense.
Forever on the list of worst performing companies is Forever 21, second home to the nation's most fashion-forward customers, and as it turns out, some of its unhappiest staff. With only 37% of employees willing to recommend the company to a friend, something's clearly going awry.
Yeah.
And if the reviews on Glassdoor are anything to go by, it may have something to do with the inadequate benefits, lack of overtime pay, and unforgiving company policies. Given the number of lawsuits Forever 21 has been hit with over recent years, including several by former employees, one of which centered on a company's fondness for detaining staff during their lunch breaks to check to see if they hadn't nabbed any of the merchandise, you think it would be doing everything it could to improve its public image. Apparently not.
Yeah, and I've seen more than once where someone threatens to fight someone behind the counter because they can't return like a club outfit they wore the night before but hid the tags.
Why can't they return it?
Because they wore it last night, obviously.
You should tell Forever 21 people to go to REI. They'd just let you bring it back. Yeah. I mean, you can't really wear that to the club.
Forever 21 is struggle, though. Like, that's for people that need, like, it provides clothes to people that don't have money for clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
they're cheap. It's the cheapest fast fashion, worst bullshit, poorly made, awful shit. You go there if you're like, I have an interview today and I look like, I don't have anything to fucking wear. Like, that's what you go.
I'm looking at the
I'm not trying to shit on poor. I wore Forever 21 all the fucking time when I only had $20 to spend on jeans.
Yeah, I didn't know they. I guess they do.
H&M is just as horrible. Like, both of them are. And you're dealing. This is kind of like when I did clothing resale. You would have somebody come in and they would give you a bunch of like dirty clothes and they'd be trying to sell them, and you'd be like, I can't take any of these clothes. And they'd be like, man, I used gas money to get here, and I was really hoping to get something to pay a bill.
Oh, Jesus criminy.
And Forever 21's the same way. Someone is coming to return a $7 tank top.
Yeah.
Because they need $7 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And someone at the counter is supposed to deal with that fucking situation.
Exactly. Yeah. And it does. I mean, from the thing about keeping people during their lunch.
That's wild.
And detaining
They're
them.
all
I've
stealing.
never heard of anything like that. I don't think they are.
Why not? I stole all the time when I worked at retail mall places.
Okay, but I'm on the other side here. Well, I never worked at a retail mall. I never worked in I can't. I worked at Kroger. I worked at a grocery store. I never stole when I worked there. I never stole. I didn't steal one thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm more criminally minded. I don't know if everybody else was stealing, I guess.
I just don't think that. I think that most people, when they get a job, especially in a place like that, they're pretty convinced that the surveillance is keeping them
airtight. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't understand the shortcomings.
Number 19 is Xerox, which I would have thought that'd be one I'd go for.
Really? Dying industry. We're moving away from paper.
But they don't
have
just do
Have they done the pivot? And they're like, maybe they're just one of those answers of just like fire people.
Yeah. Scoring a dismal 2.8 out of 5 on Glassdoor's ranking system is Xerox, the home of printers, scanners, and dissatisfied staff. As the HuffPost notes, CEO Ursula Burns may have spent the last 36 years working her way up from intern to company head, but she's clearly not picked up many tips about fostering employee morale along the way, with only 36% of her underlings giving her the stamp of approval. Factor in a decline in sales and complaints of poor pay, and the end result is a tech company that's starting to look like a bit of a dinosaur. So, it sounds like a shitty place, I guess.
It sounds like if you work your way from the bottom, you'll fucking ruin the company.
Well,
that's the conservative parable this week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the intern, that's the leftist parable, actually, because that goes against the conservative ideology.
Right.
The leftist parable this week is sometimes the intern could become the CEO and then they'll destroy the whole company and no one gets to have jobs anymore.
Well, the leftist parable in that would be that the intern works their way all the way up and becomes the thing at the top. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, when you're an intern, probably, I can't imagine when she was an intern at Xerox, she was probably saying shit like, I would never treat people the way this company treats people, you know?
Yeah. 1994. Running around, guys in fat ties and cigars are yelling at you, shooing ashes off the paper. Everybody's printing papers constantly. Reams of it.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like they're, we got to make paper better. And it's like, there ain't going to be no more paper anymore.
How fucking shitty would it be to be at Xerox right now? I was thinking about this earlier today.
It's a great name.
Right. Yes, it is. I was doing, I was listening to Opie and Anthony for Shocktober, right? And they were explaining to one of their workers, their newest on worker, that's like, he showed up late for work and they were just kind of yelling at him.
Okay.
And they were like,
new hire?
Yeah. He was the low man on the totem pole with the show.
Sure.
And they were explaining to him like, you're like working in a dying industry, right? Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. They were just like, they were like, we're not going to fire you. And if you want to fucking show up late, go ahead and do it. But you also understand that you work in a dying industry and I
don't want to be culpable for you believing that like there's a torch for me to hand down to you.
Yeah.
There's no promise here.
It's like if you're fucking, they basically were saying if you're fucking around, then you're probably... You ain't gonna make it. You're gonna wash out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to like really, really want it and work hard.
Care about it and figure out a way to make it work.
And that's what I think probably is going on at Xerox too.
Sure.
Right? It's like they're just like, people aren't printing paper, so maybe you need to impress me a little bit. Yeah. And like the guts of Xerox to pay, like have small pay is very weird because to me, that would be the kind of job I would chase down. I would work so hard to get a job at Xerox.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you back then? Wouldn't that sound like the perfect job?
I'd like to hear what Rolodex has to say.
Okay. I'm saying it's a big company. Like, I
agree. There's 2 X's on both sides is sick.
And you're looking at a place where you're like, that place will never close. It's too big.
Yeah,
too big to fail.
The Office. I think they did that TV show, The Office, about it.
Sure. Xerox is going to be around forever.
Oh, I know.
I don't think it's ever going to go away completely.
Xerox will be like scanning documents with like Google glasses and shit or some sort of fucking contact lens.
Xerox will be around. Polaroid's still around.
Yeah, Polaroid's
you know what I mean?
Still kicking.
You know what I mean? Burger King's never going to go away. There's always going to be Burger King. Yeah. McDonald's will never go away. It will always exist.
It'll always live in our hearts, too.
Yeah. Well, I think Xerox is on that level.
Xerox lives in our hearts.
Yeah. I think it's always going to be around. So anyway, number 18, Charter Communications. What?
I've never liked Charter. I had a Charter bank one time that sucked. I'm not into
You don't
Charter.
like the name Charter. You're just like,
what does that
Charter.
even mean? It just means like you're probably taking more from me than I get from you.
Yeah. Well, it's a cable company, and it was just 1.1% of a point worse than Xerox. And Overbearing management, instability, poor wages, rigid politics, and a stressful working environment are just some of the reasons behind the shockingly poor 2.7 rating it managed in 2019, as is a lack of confidence in its top leadership, with CEO Thomas Rutledge failing to get the approval of even half of his staff.
It's Spectrum. We call it Spectrum in these parts.
Yeah. I mean, I worked for the competitor of Time Warner. Spectrum actually, Charter ended up eating up Insight, where I worked. So all the people I worked with now work for Spectrum, which is Charter. And when it says rigid politics, I mean, that was the thing I hated about working there. It really was like, that place was like the way you would see 80s movies where they were in the office and they were like high flying, execs like pulling moves, like House of Cards type shit, or like any of that stuff. That's really what it was like working there. Everybody like had an angle, and everybody was like they would fuck you over. I mean, it was crazy. There was no solidarity there.
It was just angry fuckers fighting each other?
Yes, and favorites. Like, you wouldn't fucking believe the way that the...
I've heard about you. Yeah, you stayed in there. You were clearly a favorite.
Yeah, I was close. I was a favorite for 2 years. I've told you about that.
Yeah.
I did nothing when I was the lead, So, cable companies are bad to
Charter
work for.
sucks, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I have a better one or not. Like, it's okay, but... I don't want.
No, none of the cable companies. They're all like that. It's a bunch of angry people, usually. You're working for a company that is universally hated by the customer too. You got to realize that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to take away some of the enjoyment, but also a company that's universally hated by the customer, but thinks they can get them all back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, they're going to have to come back eventually.
Like, Insight was always like, look, we're one of the most unpopular companies in the world, in the most unpopular industry in the world. And we're going to change that.
Sounds like a great win-back campaign.
Yeah, like Domino's style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They run the commercials saying we stink, and then we're going to get better, I promise. The Children's Place. That's kind of sad.
Oh, really?
That's where you get stuff. The Children's Place may make some cute children's wear, but its staff are anything but pleased with the retailer, scoring a dismal 2.7 on Glassdoor. Staff cite poor leadership. Only 36% approve of current CEO Jane Elfer's style of management. Poor wages, which that is not a surprise.
Any mall place, yeah.
Yeah, there can't be mall places that pay well, right? There is a mall place at Tuttle, which is probably a C-tier mall now, would you say?
Tuttle, yeah. It's had good days.
It's B-tier. It's seen better days.
Yeah, but there's still some national brands there.
And there's a piercing place there, and I'll bet you they make good money.
Oh, yeah, the piercings do great.
I mean, I don't know.
I got some Christmas gifts from there.
You went to the piercing store and bought gifts?
No, my wife. We went and looked. We went to. I prefer a B or C tier mall. I don't like the gussied up stuff, the fake full price mall experience. I like an interesting time.
The one here has the Tuttle has the Starbucks. That's not a Starbucks anymore, and they kept all the Starbucks decor, you know, and then just put a canvas sign over the Starbucks sign.
I like that.
You go in there and get a flappuccino.
Yeah.
Which, well, it's actually done with flappers. That's why we call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, working in I think mall retail.
Mall retail sucks. I mean, there's nowhere to go. I mean, Columbus, Ohio actually is one of the largest markets for fashion jobs and fashion retail because there are Gap, Banana Republic, Abercrombie & Fitch, Hollister. A lot of the mall brands are here. Banana Republic, Old Navy has distribution, and there are headquarters here as well. So, those type of opportunities are something that like you could spend your time on. But if you're just going to sign up for a job at the mall, they're going to treat you like you're a stupid person for trying to get a job at the mall.
Right.
Like that's all they're like. That's honestly not my opinion. That's just the culture that we live in. Is that like if you're stupid enough to take a job at a mall, they're going to treat you like that.
Yeah. Why the fuck wouldn't you do pick and pack? Well, that's what they're thinking. Is like, we have pick and pack jobs, you know,
and they treat them like shit, and they're putting up with Children's Place. The one that I don't know if they're on the list or not, but Build-A-Bear, for one. Once I had a kid, and I realized that you have people in there making like minimum wage to host a birthday party.
I did that.
There's like fucking 9 children, bad kids, and their parents want 45 minutes away from them, and they go buy bears. And all of a sudden, you're in charge of all of these kids and whatever fucking dysfunctions they're living under or with.
Yeah, when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, I did birthday parties. I was a 17-year-old druggie, bad kid, and I put in charge of, 5-year-old.
That's who will take the money. That's what that's like. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's indicative of anything. But that's just at this point. That's how everybody feels about them. Like everybody that doesn't give a shit. No, talking about the people that aren't leftists and people that don't give a shit. They just think like, what do you expect? You went and worked for the Children's Place. What do you think? You were going to work up in the company or something? You're going to become the intern intern to CEO after 36 years?
Yeah.
You know.
The next thing on the Children's Place thing is probably the thing that makes them the most unhappy. The pressure to promote the store's credit card.
Yeah. That's every time. Victoria's Secret, Old Navy, all the ones I just mentioned too. I hate getting that spiel from people.
I do too. Did you ever do a job where you had to sell a credit card?
I did not. Thank God. Oh.
The worst thing I ever had to do customer service wise was apologize for every call. So anytime a customer called in, I had to say sorry. And if I didn't, it would be points off on my quality control. And it was enough points that you failed the QC.
Yeah.
If they did it. So that was the one thing that I can compare to that.
The one I have is I had to sell cheesecakes at Fazoli's.
Oh,
so they would put me on drive-through and they would say like, if you sell X amount of cheesecakes, I've got money on the line. The manager would set up something. But I would pressure people into the cheesecakes the same way that a cheesecake isn't that bad of a decision. It's a lot of extra calories and more saturated fat that you need.
Probably expensive though.
But I would just, I'd be like, you want a turtle cheesecake to top that off? And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, are you sure about that? And they're like, you know what? Go ahead. Toss one on there.
Ew, you did the are you sure?
Oh, I did.
Are you sure
I got
about
them.
that is actually high pressure sales to me.
In a drive-through too, because someone's behind them. Yeah. Your car is operating. You want this to be over with. But I was trying to get a tomato pin to put on my hat to say I sold the most cheesecakes.
So you're playing on the fact that it's like that you want to give the impression to the customer that you're not going to let them go through unless they buy a turtle cheesecake.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I have to sell cheesecakes right now. But that's the card is the same way. Like, there's times when I go, Victoria's Secret is whatever they make them do. Eventually, what I always do is I stare the woman right in her eyes and I say, my credit score is below 600 and there's no way that I'm going to get approved for this. I've had several credit cards at this point and I haven't paid any of them. And that was just years ago. I'm still in collections right now. I just go full truth. Like sometimes I just have to go full truth bomb on people when they try to pressure me too much with that shit.
I think that when they look at me, they assume that I'm surly. And usually if they ask me, I'm like, nah. And then they just leave me alone.
Yeah. You look incorrigible.
Yeah. CompuCon is number 16. I never heard of this place. It's in South Carolina, which is wild. If you've never heard of a place and they're the number 16 worst company to work for.
What is it?
CompuCon.
That sounds made up.
I know.
That sounds like a disk drive manufacturer from the 90s.
Yeah, it's poor way. They're an office supply retailer.
Okay. compact presarios. They're probably in the business of compact presarios.
That's the shittiest computer.
Oh, the worst one I ever made. But that's what they got them in people's hands. It's like, it's all in one. It's one bill. I promise you just plug it in. You don't have to buy the monitor separate.
You get a compact presario or a Gateway computer.
Yeah.
Remember Gateway with the cow?
Gateway was trying to get everybody on payments.
Yeah.
That was like, do you give a fuck about your kids going to college? You better pay $45 a month for this Gateway then.
Yeah, Gateways were crummy. I had one. Because they gave them to you. It was easy to get the credit. And,
the Chromebook is what it is now. The fucking Chromebook is the gateway of the day. Like, waste of money. Like, you're like, oh, I spent $300 on that and it doesn't do anything I wanted. I guess I just recycled that responsibly. That whole fucking school district got bamboozled on that deal with the fucking Google Chromebooks. Got sold a piece of shit fucking equipment.
I said that. I was telling you that on the way here. And then Gwen, hers was so shitty last year. It had to be plugged in all the time. It lost the connection all the time. And she took it back and they give them to freshmen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's basically like they gave her a new one.
So check that Grandview Instagram profile. They're going to talk about freshman problems when your Chromebook fucking sucks.
Yeah. So the problem with CompuCon is poor wages, infrequent salary reviews, which that's a motherfucker. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese for 1 year and 2 months and never had a performance review.
Yeah.
And like I have had jobs where I just like didn't get a performance review.
There's lots of places where it's like, don't talk about it actually.
Yeah.
Like the boss, as soon as you start to say, they're like, what? What were we going to say? You say you don't like working anymore? Oh, no, you said something else. Oh, you said it in a different way. You said you wanted more money.
I had a boss one time say, you don't want a performance review.
Really?
You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah, that's where smart people do ask for a performance review, but like you're not one of those.
Yeah, no, you don't. You shouldn't get one.
It is
bum you out.
Yeah, I mean, my corporate jobs, we got like I remember getting them every 6 months at places, and they were pretty regimented, but they were awful. Like if you're guaranteed one, it's all automatically going to be below inflation. You know.
Yeah. Oh no, you're not getting shit if they're not like, rushing to do the performance reviews,
right?
Then you know that like the raises are shit.
Yeah.
Regal number 15, Regal Cinemas.
Really?
I mean,
what's the movie?
People do hate working at movie theaters, though.
They're the worst.
People hate it.
I remember even as a kid trying to get extra popcorns and drinks, and I remember my friend telling me that his manager counted the cups in the trash and compared it to the inventory.
Yeah, I tried to get a job at the movie theater because I really wanted to work there because I wanted the free movies,
Yeah.
I just thought, But then when you start to put it all together and think about it, because even when I was in college, I thought about getting a job at the movie theater because I was there all the time anyway. I was going to movies all the time, and I was like, fuck it.
Mike Rowe started as a simple projector, and now he's like a TV show host too.
Exactly, but like they paid minimum wage, and also like you work Christmas. You work at night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You work every single day.
Yeah.
They're open 365 days a year. You probably work until like 1, 2 in the morning a lot of times. And it's just like, I can't imagine work. I mean, I've talked to people who loved working at movie theaters.
Yeah.
But probably not a chain.
If I had 8 hours at a movie theater instead of doing Christmas all day, though, would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
It would be a good break for me.
Yeah.
I'm just, like this COVID makes me feel like maybe I should get a job where I'm forced to work on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. A lot of those places aren't doing it this year.
I know.
Working at the movie theater chain Regal may get you free admission to movies and discounts on concessions, but it's also going to give you a serious headache. Before the company was bought out by the UK company Cineworld Group, staff weren't overly troubled by conditions.
See, CompuCon, Cinema World Group, these are old world things that are not going to solve our current problems. These are things that we have to get rid of.
Yeah. They just say their problems are, one of these is total. Well, all of these sound true. Poor working conditions, which I totally, every time I go into a movie theater, I'm like, this place is fucking falling apart. I never go into a movie theater and like get a real new feeling. They all feel like they're in various stages of disrepair, and they're all dirty. And I always feel like there's mice or roaches in them. I always just have the vibe.
You know there is.
I mean, how could
you hide it?
Yeah.
How could you keep them away from that feast?
I know.
You're like punching the shit out of a butter thing because 2 out of 3 are out of order.
And also it's dark in there. It's always dark.
Coke freestyle machine, so that way they spilled pop everywhere. You're standing in fucking pop.
Oh God, you do too. When you're fucking in front of that freestyle machine and that icy machine, it's just soaking wet all around it. It's fucking horrible, man. When they started letting us do the filling, that was a disaster. I think that's a disaster. Yeah.
See, but think about like how much we care about the movie experience. If we didn't have to do anti-American podcasting, if we had the same income level, I would go and clean everything up and make sure that like it was like the perfect experience for you to get your fucking popcorn and watch a movie.
Yeah, I'm just Cineworld group doesn't give a fuck.
No, they have to like
it's
this,
widgets.
This person costs too much. We only have to have 2 people on staff.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Understaffing and low wages.
Hey, some of research group figured out that actually customers will start cleaning for themselves at a certain point. So we can rely on that. We can rely on them to do some of the labor.
When I first started seeing, when you go to the movies, when I first started seeing them decide, okay, the person in the ticket booth is gone. You go to the person that rips your ticket is also selling the ticket.
Yep.
It's just like these places.
Well,
there's nobody working here.
Well, like you were talking about that new experience, there was a gigantic mall that was built when I was a teenager in the late 90s called Easton Town Center. There was a Planet Hollywood, and Schwarzenegger and Stallone and all the boys came down. There was all this stuff on display. This movie theater was like elite level movie theater. And I go to $5 Tuesdays. When I used to go to $5 movie Tuesdays, they have this whole opening, this whole like atrium that's open with all of these box offices, and nobody's using them.
You go up the escalator.
You go up the escalator.
Customer service.
One person hovelled in the corner that just has like a square fucking iPad and rings you out for a ticket. It sucks.
Yeah, and I want to be clear.
All of the pomp and circumstance is gone.
I want to be clear. We're not talking about the movies just now opening. We're not going to the movies.
This is in dollar theater.
This is fucking in the best of
28.
days. This is when Avengers was playing.
They're putting in those 4D movies now, right?
Yeah.
They just added a new wing for those like extra experience movies.
Yeah. Who wants to bet that those never work?
This is the worst possible time to hand me a headset or whatever it is.
True. I mean, I just picture if like say we're going to the movies and the seats are supposed to move during the movies, I just imagine, 10 of them roped off with caution signs that say out of order.
Out of order,
every time you go in there. Because I think movie theaters, there's no good ones. Maybe the Alamo Drafthouse is good. We don't have that here, though. And
I have to say, I've seen, and this is what I've advocated for, is obviously we can't make new movies. And the only reason we're making new movies is to make more money. But we should consider just showing all the old movies. Like you said, the classics, the cult classics. Someone is doing Evil Dead 1 and 2 at the drive-in this weekend. That sounds fun. And that's like, we don't have to go see a new fucking Annabelle movie every fucking year. We don't need a new Saw movie. Some of these experiences can be repeated. They're not like throwaway things. Every movie, they spend $400 million to make it. They make $406 million back. And then we all go watch it one time, buy all the stuff, create a lot of trash, and then disregard it. And all of this stuff is out there that exists already to enjoy.
I kind of feel, though, and I'm going to agree with you in one respect here, that like American love watching the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
That is like their shit, man. They'll watch fucking Top Gun so many times they can quote it.
Before memes, yes. That's what that was most of our social hierarchy before memes, before social media, was you would say a line from a movie and anybody else that knew it, you were friends forever.
Smells of rich mahogany, and it's like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I like when he says, "I love lamp, man."
Yeah. Milk was a bad idea.
Dillard's, number 14.
Oh yeah,
malt.
Who's going to Dillard's?
The malt. I mean, I would.
I haven't been to Dillard's. It's a great
Dillard's?
name.
What's wrong with Dillard's?
I think I have been to a Dillard's. Is there one in Columbus or not?
There's not one in Columbus, but there is. They have them in Cincinnati.
I went to this old janky ass place to buy shoes for Charlotte that was like a really old style mall. Everything had gold trim on it. There was carpet areas for the lounging, and then like that linoleum shit, pathways to guide you through. But Dillard's, I don't know.
Well, Dillard's one of the largest fashion, cosmetic, and home furnishing companies in the U.S. Dillard's is regularly pulling in annual sales of $6.5 billion plus. But don't expect many of its 1,000 plus employees to be celebrating in its success. According to Cheat Sheet, Dillard's has one of the worst work-life balances of any company in the U.S., with many employees complaining their sales quotas are unrealistic and their pay is far below their worth.
Yes, I've been.
Considering the depth of employee dissatisfaction, we can only wonder why 37% of employees would give their approval to CEO. And here's a very important name for the CEO, and this is why it sucks to work there. CEO Bill Dillard II.
Oh, no. Well, us Dillards just know how to sell consumer goods.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been. That's the place I was just describing. This is where I bought shoes for my daughter one time.
Okay.
My mom shops here.
Bill Dillard's place.
Bill Dillard.
Old Bill Dillard's.
Old Bill
Dillard II's place. You fucking know that's a horrible place to work because Bill Dillard hasn't ever stood behind a cash register. No. Bill Dillard was born to be the CEO of Dillard's.
Yeah, it was. So that's right, because I went shoe shopping there, and I remember the person that was running the shoe area was kind of involved, very involved, like had to help me through the process. But I was in there, and it felt so old to me. Like, it felt like being in, like, JCPenney or Sears or Lazarus. Yeah. My daughter, I was trying to find shoes for my kid. She was laying all over the ground, like, just fucking going wild, running in circles. She tried the shoes on and started doing cartwheels and stuff. And I'm like, this is an experience from, like, 25, 30 years ago.
It's hills.
Yeah, we don't need it anymore. No. I think we've advanced beyond it. It's literally a department store, and everything felt like it was just kept in a time capsule.
Yes. Here, we're going to do up to number 10, and then next week do the final 10 because we're running
Makes sense.
long.
We'll get your Dear Abby too, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just put those in for next Wednesday's show. 13, LA Fitness. LA Fitness may have it covered when it comes to the physical well-being of its members, but when it comes to the mental well-being of its 10,000 plus employees, it's got some serious making up to do. Low pay, long hours, and a lack of appreciation from upper management are just some of the reasons behind the company's dismal showing on Glassdoor. That's actually interesting to me that they would mention that, because a company has to be astoundingly bad for a money website to talk about lack of appreciation from upper management. Like, that actually means that upper management is in a high echelon of bad, because most people won't take that seriously. Most people don't take that criticism seriously from anybody. They think it's like a me or a you. Where you're just like, oh, management don't appreciate me. They don't have, and they just think you're just complaining because you would never be happy with management, But most people would like to have a nice boss. That's just, most people would like to not have a boss, But since we know that the reality of the world is that you have to have a boss, most people would like to have a nice one, I think. You know?
Yeah.
And would like to be appreciated. Number 12. Now this is one you could have called. I can guarantee it. Number 12, Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
That place smells like a toilet every time you go in there.
They don't give anybody time to change the trash or the grease trap or any of the cleaning. They're open 24 hours and they're just supposed to make food, not make hygiene happen.
I didn't. Me and you stopped at a Steak and Shake on tour.
Oh yes,
and
where
it
was that?
One of the worst experiences I've ever had at a restaurant. I don't know. We must
left,
have been one of our last tours.
Yeah, we left a place in the middle of the night and ended up there, and I don't know where it was. I wish I did, but everybody there is. You have to be. It's Waffle House. Like it's a Waffle House light. Like it's a place that's open. People that go there are usually outlaws that have warrants for their arrest, and you have to deal with however their after party lifestyle is. Like you just have, like you're dealing with so much shit at a Steak and Shake after 2 a.m.
I'm fairly certain I know where we were. I think it was on the Midwest tour.
Okay.
It was a show, and then drive to the next place.
Okay.
But don't. I know it's called Steak and Shake. I fully realize this. Do not order a shake after midnight. You know, because that was the problem when we went there. We finished eating.
Oh.
And we waited a half hour for our milkshake before we could get back on the road because we wanted a fucking milkshake at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And there was they came and explained it to us, and they said there was one person making all the milkshakes. And it was just like there were a lot of people in the place, and there were also people in the because they have fucking drive-thru.
Yeah, the drive-thru never ends.
And the drive-thru at Steak and Shake is fucking crazy because it usually takes them about a half hour to get each order. Have you ever waited in a drive-thru at Steak and Shake?
No, yeah, it's like going out to eat.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of time as you sat at a fucking dinner table. You sit in front of that window waiting for your fucking food.
Used to sit in my car and just pound on the steering wheel in frustration, waiting to get through that line. And it's like, it's not the workers' fault. Man.
Yeah.
Whatever the processes are, it's the fault of the processes.
I mean, that's what the thing is. They're like, we insist on doing diner food, but also have a drive-through window. It's like, you can't do that, though.
Yeah. It says, when it comes to employee satisfaction, there's no upside to what's happening at the San Antonio-based restaurant chain. Just a glance at some of the staff complaints tells you all you need to know. With low pay, long hours, which I believe, chaotic management, and an atrocious attrition rate, all cited as some of the reasons you're best off avoiding this company like the plague. I mean, that place smells so bad when you go in there. You just... And
it's a shit show.
And it's open 24 hours, and I firmly believe that a corporation like Steak and Shake that's open 24 hours is always understaffed. It's never
constantly.
going to be... Waffle House does a decent job, but I've even been in Waffle Houses that were pretty... Like, there were two people working.
Someone,
you know?
well, like when you go in and someone's like, we've been waiting for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just so you know what to expect.
Yeah. Steak and Shake's worse, though, than Waffle House. Steak and Shake's probably one of the worst fast cat.
Steak and
Shake or fast?
I don't know. It has the dine-in. When people come to your table and take your order, like that requires a lot extra.
Yeah, that's true. They do that.
They're doing Waffle House plus drive-through Waffle House.
True. Plus, I think that whatever it is that they do to make the food takes a long time.
It does. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know what
they insist on like, no. I'm not gonna get a computer hamburger system. I'm not gonna get you flash frozen patties that can be made in 90 seconds so that they get in your mouth. I'm going to spend 10 minutes making a fucking burger for you.
Yeah, it just feels like
I'm going to do it all the way.
It just feels like there's something in the process. Hey, if you're listening to this and you want to call in Sunday night if you've ever worked at Steak and Shake, I would love to talk to you.
Waffle House veterans too.
Yeah, Waffle House
Both.
too. Yeah. If you're around, you
you don't
message
even get-
one of us and we'll get you on the air because I need to talk to somebody that works at Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake has those signing bonuses too.
Yeah.
Any of those 24-hour places, they're like, we'll give you $150 to stick around.
What a crummy amount of money, though.
I know. Sometimes you need 150, man.
It's 3 months, dude. And yes,
People
understaffed for sure. If it's open late, it's understaffed.
Yeah.
You know? Number 11 is Conduent. The business process services company. See, this we could just close.
I don't know Conduent.
We could just... Conduent may be able to brag about having over 85,000 employees. Okay, we got to leave it open, unfortunately. But how many of those employees are happy is another thing entirely. Despite being named a leader in Nelson Hall's Advanced Analytics NEAT evaluation... I have no idea what this place is. Conduent is by no means leading the pack when it comes to staff satisfaction. Like Steak and Shake, the company has only managed a 2.6 out of 5 on Glassdoor, with only 38% of its employees taking the time to recommend it to a friend. I mean, a lot of us don't recommend jobs we've left to a friend. You know?
No.
They're talking to employees, though, that actually still work there. It's like, but I've never had a job. The cable company, I got somebody a job. I got a few people a job because people want to work there.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm like, I don't want to work here.
Yeah.
I've never had a job where I was like, I got to get some people on. You know.
Yeah. Go somewhere else.
It's more of a mean thing because, you know, I want friends to work with me, so I would get them a job, but I'd be like, this place sucks. I got like 6 people hired at Chuck E. Cheese.
Smart.
Just because I wanted all my friends working there. I had like all my bad friends working at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole fun thing.
Yeah.
Number 10, until next week, this is like a real radio bit, man. I'm feeling really good about this.
Yeah.
Number 10.
We didn't do it all.
Yeah, we're teasing for next week. Number 10, Family Dollar stores. Another place that looks terrible on the inside. Terrible.
Definitely sometimes only one employee on the premises. Most of the time.
That's true. That's fucking... If there's 100 people in line, there's one employee.
That's a place you got to ring a bell to get checked out. Somebody is stocking the shelves, has no idea to look at the door, no time to look at the door. You have to bother them. They're like, like you have to stop them from stocking the shelves to go do register.
It's also a fucking huge store. It's like so understaffed though. I went to one in New Orleans where there was one person working, and this line was really long, and it was a fucking supermarket, dude.
Yeah,
it was a fucking supermarket.
Yeah. No, I mean they have essentials. They have like the people are doing essential shopping.
I know
the prices are good enough that you have to wait.
It's just a huge place for the amount of employees that I saw working
for
there.
one person.
You know, 1 or 2 people.
One person to run an entire fucking Walmart.
The percentage of employees of Family Dollar stores willing to recommend its CEO, Gary M. Philbin, may be higher than certain other entries in our list, but a 37% approval rate is still pretty poor showing nonetheless. Not as bad as the percentage of employees willing to recommend the job to a friend, though, which as Glassdoor notes stands at just 30%. If the reviews are anything to go by, the retailer has a long way to go in terms of pay, development opportunities, and expectations. 100%.
Yeah,
that is
that.
just something that I know just from being in a Family Dollar. Because you're right. Fucking nobody's working there.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah. I got it confused with Save-A-Lot, but
Save-A-Lot has some... I've only been a couple times.
Yeah.
There's one on Morse Road I haven't been to yet.
You want to go to Save-A-Lot? Go to Save-A-Lot. We can go
deals are.
hard. That Danny Brown song.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Go to Save-A-Lot and we can go hard. Thank God for a bridge card.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Jake to play that at the end of the show.
Good idea.
It's possible.
I can put in the request.
So we are at number 9 next Thursday. Could we do it Sunday? No. Let's do it next Thursday. Next Thursday, we will knock down 9 through...
Maybe Wednesday?
I'm sorry. Well, the show will come out on
The show will come out on Thursday. You'll hear it on Thursday.
Next Wednesday, we will knock down the rest of these. I promise. I'm putting the list together now. We got 10 left. This is like an old time radio tease. I'm listening to too much radio right now.
Thank you for listening to the show, supporting what we do. Shocktober 2 is on the way, right?
Yeah, I've been listening
episode.
to a lot of shit. We're going to record it probably in the next week or week and a half. The Opie and Anthony episode.
It's coming.
I think the focus of that episode is I'm going to show how mean they are. Like, that's sort of their calling card anyway. Like, they were known as being mean. And I think a running theme through Shocktober this year is showing how it's meanness.
Yeah.
Is the theme I'm going to
relentlessly
roll through
mean.
it. I mean, Howard, I was listening when Stuttering John went to the Tonight Show. I listened to like one of it, the first episode of the first week. It was some of the meanest shit I have ever heard. And he would just say it like this too. He'd be like, "I can't blame you for going. They're paying you $500,000, okay?" And it's just like, I'm not mad at you. I am glad that this happened, but I think Jay Leno's a snake.
Right.
And he's horrible, and I don't know why he would hire you. Like, why would you hire an announcer that stutters unless you're trying to rip me off? And it's just like, fuck, dude. Do you understand how fucking mean what you're saying? And he does. They all do. They understand what's mean.
All right.
So
Mean Radio.
Yeah.
Coming soon, Shocktober Volume 2. We also have, we just did a special episode, not special episode, one more episode of the 100 Million Tons of Steel Metal podcast. We did it with Jess Skolnick from Bandcamp and a Modernist Witch on Twitter, and that will be coming to your bonus feed soon. So thanks for all the support. Get them wavy shirts. They fucking rock. I know you want to be cool. Just break free. Pre-order the shirt and the mask.
I know you want to be cool. Break free.
Don't just wear shit that says the names of stuff that you like on it. Wear things that have cool art on them instead. So
that is a good point.
We'll see you later this week on Sunday. We're taking calls. We're Street Fight Radio. Peace. I gotta go piss so bad.